Hey guys, how are you? It is the Jackie Jackson. How you guys doing? Real estate investor, coach, and mentor. And I am getting ready to invite Miss Christine Baker onto our show right now. So let's see if we can get Christine on our show. Let's see, we're going to let's request. I don't have any viewers yet. Let's see. Joe Young, not yet. Let me see. Who can we add? Let's add. Hey, Joe. What's up, man? How are you? I'm going to invite Miss Christine Baker because she is like our guest of honor. Let's see if Christine will join us right now. All right. Hello, Al. How you doing? Let's say Yola. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Markeith is on. Thank you, Markeith, for watching. Christine is on. I need to bring Miss Christine on. And Joe is on. Joe says, "Good morning, Queen Jackie." Joe, what time zone are you on? Okay, because that's what I need to know. What time zone are you on? All right. He said, "Good morning." Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hey, Christine, what's up, beautiful? How are
Yeah,
you doing?
not much.
Are you excited to be here?
I am. I was just looking at we've done over 40 deals and just rehabs and flips and wholesales and all that good stuff. I'm like, which one is the best to share about?
I know. I was going through my portfolio of deals that I've done as well too, and I'm like, gosh, like every deal has a story, you know? And I'm
Mm,
like, well, all of these stories are like really good. Like it's like reality TV good, you know?
yeah, totally. Oh my gosh.
So I chose like my favorite ones, and I'm sure you did too. Choose the ones that kind of stand out to you that you learned, a lot of things from. So I want to just shout out Joe is on, Yola is on, Markeith is on. Markeith says, "Fire." I
Nice.
appreciate you. Thank you so much. Just sending all the love. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in and supporting Christine and I. Hey, Lawrence, Mr. FICO himself is on. Thank you so much for watching. I was watching your live a few moments ago, like just not too long ago. So thank you, brother, for tuning into us as well too. So Christine, OMG, tonight is gonna be like so fire. It's gonna be ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. For
that's right.
real. Yeah, totally. So everyone knows, and for those who do not know, Christine and I are full-time real estate investors, coaches, and mentors, and we share. I mean, we're so transparent in everything that we do. It's not even funny. Like there's so many people, so many educators that are out there that are sharing information, but the difference is that Christine and I really want you to be successful. Like you are going, if you work with us, you're going to be successful the first time. I mean, there's no guarantee in anything. You have to put forth your effort. You have to be committed. You have to want to be successful. But the thing that Christine and I can guarantee you is that we will be there for you, period. We know that.
Yeah,
Would
yes.
you agree?
I totally agree. What you and I both have experienced in like our transactions and just starting in our real estate is when mentors aren't there for you. So Jackie and I teamed up because we wanted to disrupt the industry, really, and bring you mentors and coaches that care about you, that will hold your hand. And the main goal of us is to have you be successful the first deal. And that's what we're all about. So that's what's driving us to do this boot camp, to do these Facebook Lives, so that you have your best foot forward, really.
Absolutely. And that you're also well-rounded as well too. It's not all about like wholesaling. You don't necessarily have to like just choose one thing. If you only have one tool, in your toolkit, you only have one skill in your toolkit, then when it comes to actually doing deals and you're faced with a situation, that a scenario that doesn't fit the wholesale model, like what do? You already spent money for those leads. You've already started marketing. You have a motivated seller on the line telling you that they're interested in selling their property, but it doesn't fit the wholesale model. So now that lead just kind of goes to the wayside, right? What do you do with it? You could refer it out, I suppose, to somebody else, but what do you do with that lead if you are unskilled and you don't know enough strategies so that you can actually
Right.
be a little bit more flexible in your offers and that you can be able to actually help more people? That's what Christine and I are going to share with you tonight. Different strategies that we have used and learned along the way in our real estate investing business, and a little bit insight on what we're going to teach you at the 3-day boot camp and bus tour. Woo-hoo! It's gonna
Woo!
be
I know,
so
I'm so
good.
excited for that bus tour. That's really where the magic is. I love it because you get to go and see everybody's mistakes.
And we're so good in pointing them out, right, Christine?
Yeah. Nothing gets by us. Um, the one that I loved the most was the attic access in the shower. That,
Oh, I forgot about that. I mean, oh,
yeah,
you know
it doesn't get
why?
any better.
Yeah, and I think I know why. Because wasn't that like they made the master bedroom? They converted the garage to the master bedroom. That's what they did, and they added on that shower, but they forgot to move the attic access
Yeah.
from in that area, in that space, and it was like right in the shower. So you could be in the shower, and the shower was beautiful. The shower was really nice.
That was a nice shower. It was big. I liked
It was
it.
huge. It was like we were
Yeah.
both in there together, like, this is a nice room. This is nice. And then we looked up at the ceiling and we were like, hocus
Oh
pocus.
my gosh.
So we've seen some really strange things, really, really strange things. So
Yeah.
just shouting out everybody here: Nicola, Cynthia, Adam, Bino. Let me see if I can get it. Quincy's on, Hands is on, Papa A Diop is on. He's out of Atlanta, I think. He's out there looking for more inventory. I saw your post, Papa Diop, earlier today that you got a whole bunch of buyers with no inventory. So yeah, we're going to talk about that too. Why isn't there any inventory, right? So let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's huge, especially here in Florida. You know.
Very much so. And I don't think that there's a shortage of inventory. What the issue is that the price point that the inventory is, that's where the challenge is, right? It just doesn't fit that wholesale fix and flip renovation model. It just doesn't do that. So you got to
Yeah,
have more strategies in order for you to, keep that inventory, keep that flow of business, or else your business is going to come to like a screeching halt if you can't adapt to where the market is actually going.
right. And I also think that part of that is what you're saying, Jackie, but it's also part of, how banks are dealing with foreclosures and short sales now.
Mm.
They're not releasing that inventory like they were. And you can't get the deals on those foreclosures and short sales like you did because they're getting smarter. They're realizing that they can get pretty good market value for the houses so that, they're not releasing big chunks of them at a time.
This is true. So if they're not doing that, they obviously are doing something else, right? So the other strategy that most people don't really go after when it comes on to acquisition and getting properties under control is notes, like performing notes and non-performing notes. But that's an advanced strategy, but that's where you actually buy the mortgage, the paper. You invest in the paper that's securing that real property, right? So that's another way, another backdoor avenues for those savvy guys who's out there who's watching right now. If y'all not finding the inventory, I'm gonna need y'all to call them asset managers, okay? So just pick up the phone and call the asset managers and ask them for a tape of the properties that they have available, the notes that they have, I should say, rather, available, non-performing or performing, whatever tickles your fancy. All right. So without
Yeah.
any further ado, we got so many people in here. Bino's checking in. Everybody's checked in. So we're pretty dope here. We're getting ready to start and share some insights on some deals. I have some pictures of about 2 properties. So we won't be on here pretty long. But I know, Christine, you got some properties that you're going to be sharing as well too, right?
Yeah. What I have, is basically the HUD statements of the property. So hopefully it'll
Ooh.
work. Yeah, hopefully
It
we
may
can
be
see the
tiny.
right enough. We'll see how this
Oh,
goes, right?
that's pretty dope. I love that. I was looking at some of my HUD statements too, and I was like, am I showing the HUD though? Are we going there? Are we gonna save that for the boot camp? You know what I'm saying? Like
I
where the real
got
money
it.
at? That's what's up though. But I love that about you. Go ahead, girl. Show your HUD state. Show your settlement statements. Let them know
Oh,
these investors
okay.
out
Okay,
here, they
hold
got
on.
their checks. They
So
copy
I've
a
got
check.
a maybe,
Maybe if just
maybe.
flip your
Here we
camera
go.
around so they can see it.
Okay. Ah,
It was tiny. They
it
can't see
is.
that. I can't even see it, Christine. But tell us about it. So we're
Okay.
looking at
Well, here.
your
Mm,
settlement statement. So describe what situation
okay,
that
so
was for
I'll
you.
just have to describe it
Yeah.
because yeah, like you could turn yours around and be fine. So one house I did, it was my first pre-foreclosure. So what does that mean? It means basically the house is on its way to the courthouse steps. And the only thing that's going to interrupt it is a contract on the property. So this person called me and he's about to lose everything, his credit and everything he had in his house. So I was like, I can help you. I can stop it actually. And I'm like, all you need is this lovely piece of paper. And yeah, you do have to move and you do have to sell your house. But if you sell your house to me, your problems will be over essentially. And so, and it had settled at where the bank had settled.
Ooh.
So I actually, what I did, what most people don't know, is I did hire a negotiator to negotiate the property. And that is really the key piece there, is because those people go back with the bank back and forth
Uh-huh.
in ways that, not you or I can, if that makes sense. So it's definitely another in, because if it's just you negotiating the property, you can spend hours and hours going around in a circle trying to find someone that can actually help you. Where these people, they know exactly who to talk to. And so you decrease your time, right?
Yes.
Because your clock is running.
So that's a great tip for
Yeah.
anyone that's watching right now. So if you are considering marketing to individuals that are in pre-foreclosure, right? So they haven't technically been issued a date yet, right? It's going to go to the auction at some point in the future if they don't rectify whatever what their situation is. They have an arrears, right? So they've been issued a notice of default. They've been issued like a list pending, something like that. Their bank is like, listen, I'm putting you guys on notice right now that if you don't pay up, this is where we're
Yeah.
headed, right?
Right. And so they actually so this gentleman actually had a sale date on the courthouse steps. So
Wow. So he
now
got a
that
date?
he had a date and so what you have to watch out on these now is they're starting to really push them through quick.
Mm.
So the time frame that I really like when I get these is a month out. Like when it's a month out, you can do something. When it's less than a month, it gets really hard and they don't want to deal with you. So, what I did, and being an investor, you close on property, you keep your name off the public records at all costs. But there are some times when you can't. And so this was one of the properties where I had to actually close in my name.
Okay.
So I bought it for $39,535 cash.
Wow. That's what the
Yeah,
negotiator helped you buy it. So
that's
you
what she
basically
helped me negotiate.
yeah, you technically bought it on that would be a short sale because that means that their lender agreed to accept a lesser payoff, right? A lesser
Right,
payoff than what was actually due on the mortgage.
right.
Hmm.
And so I put about 10,000 into the property. It was really great. It didn't need much, and the guy actually was like a contractor. We all hit hard times sometimes, and we all need to get out of it. And so then I ended up selling it at $71,541.
Wow. So we have a couple of questions here. So one
Okay.
moment. So Christy versus Hey Jackie. Hey Christy, how you doing? Just want to acknowledge you. Thank you so much for joining us. Frank, Andrea, Latasha, Bino.
Yeah,
Bino
I
says,
say
what state? Yeah, what
Andrea,
state is it?
I have Daniel and Todd. So this is in Florida.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so then when you do the numbers, I made about a $20,000 profit off that one.
And how long from like start to finish?
Start to finish was about I had some challenges with I had to get the house tinted. Which means so in Florida there are bugs. Go figure that one out. So in inspection, I had everything perfect. The house was clean. I didn't even know they existed, but they found stuff in the wall. So
Mm.
I had to get it tinted. And so that, those guys are in very high demand in Florida. Let me tell
Oh
you.
wow. All right. So
Yeah.
you had to have the house tented and like fumigated to
Yeah,
kill,
fumigated.
right, to kill all
Right.
the bugs and stuff that was like inside the wall, inside the drywall, the interior
Yeah.
areas of the wall. Okay.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Yeah.
So it delayed us a little bit, and you got to work with their availability. But we had him locked down in the contract to where that was negotiated as part of it, and we would close. So
Uh,
I wasn't worried about it. So yeah, it did take from start to finish about 6 months because we did have some issues. Like I just want to bring up another point, Jackie. Like you talk about wholesaling and how maybe you don't have all the tools you need and you can get something outside of your comfort zone. And let me tell you, out of all the properties that we've rehabbed, wholesaled, whatever we've done, not one has been great. There's always been something.
there's been like a learning lesson for all of them. That's what makes it like so
Yeah,
adventurous. I mean, we're not trying to scare
definitely.
anyone or anything like that. I mean, because we're successful, we're making money off of it, right? But the question is everything going to go smooth all the time? That's definitely an untruth. And if someone tells you that it's going to go smooth all the time, it isn't. You're dealing with people who have a real life situation, like real life emotional challenges, in their world, like their world is crumbling, right? So when we're talking about owners, these are real people, real families that are having, whether they're having hardships or they're just having payment hardships and they need to get out from under that payment to go do something else and move on with their life. You're taking them on as well as their situation. Like you find yourself empathizing with them, right? And making sure that you take care of them and help them to get all the resources they need in order for them to move on with their lives successfully. But most times when someone's going through a difficult period in their life, like, they stop maintaining the property, hence the reason why it probably had those bugs in it.
Right.
That owner waited a really, really long time, right? I didn't realize that that property had not gone, had a date already, right? So that means that he waited a really, really long time, right? He was hoping, wishing, praying that something was going to happen. And thank goodness it did. You came along and he
I
listened to
know.
you. But he
And
almost
that's
lost
when
his
you've got,
house.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's when you know the power of your marketing.
The power of your marketing, the
Yeah,
consistency of your marketing, right? And the
that's right.
multiple touches. Okay, that's pretty dope. So this property, so okay, share with me. So it was a pre-foreclosure. All right. So let's recap real quick. It was a pre-foreclosure, right? They had a date already set for auction and it was 30 days out. That's what you said. About 30 days before the house was going to go to auction, right? For public auction with the
Right.
county. And then
So my contract that I brought installed that.
okay. And
Okay.
then one of the really great tips that you gave was, it just makes sense to hire a professional negotiator, especially if you have the opportunity to contact that sellers, that borrowers bank, that their mortgage company, because mortgage companies sometimes they could be really, really difficult. They want their money, but they're difficult to deal with, so
Yeah.
you want someone that is very experienced in speaking their language and really sharing with them the information that they need in order for them to make a best decision, right?
Right.
reject the offer and let it go to auction? Because that's really expensive for them sometimes too. I mean, it costs them money
Right.
to foreclose on properties. Or
Um,
do I accept the offer and just move on?
right. And so what you also have to understand when you're dealing with a short sale or a foreclosure situation is that the house that you're wanting to buy is just another file on their desk. So it gets passed from person to person to person to person. So a lot of it is repetitive. A lot of it is you're saying the same thing, producing the same documents over and over and over again until you get to the final, okay.
The final decision maker that knows what's happening, what knows what's going on.
Yeah, and then you sign those papers as quick as possible.
All right. So Joe Young says, where did you find the negotiator? Where you found your negotiator?
I asked around. So you talk about, so what Jackie and I, the value that we're bringing to this boot camp are the people that we've worked with. So everybody on our preferred vendor list are people that we can back up and say, yes, I've worked with this person. I stand by them 100%. Because without those people and without those people in your community, this business can just be miserable. So we're setting you up right so that, you know, like I said, we tell it over again, and maybe you're tired of hearing it, but we want you to be successful the first time.
Very,
So
very true.
yeah, so how I found the negotiator is I asked the people I trusted.
The people who are already like in your network. And that's
Yeah.
a really, really big deal. People, when you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of experience, you don't have a lot of resources, the one thing that you need to do then is connect yourself with other people that have that. That way you can borrow their confidence, you can borrow their education, you can even borrow their resources and their friends. Like, we gonna be friends.
Yeah,
We
right.
gonna be friends, okay? All right, you gonna
Yeah.
teach me. You gonna teach me today. I mean, you just have, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? There comes a time where you just have to humble yourself and say, okay, I don't know everything, so I'm gonna hang out with people that do. Fair enough. So Christie
Yeah.
says, great info. That's awesome. So it's my turn, isn't it? I guess we're gonna go
It
back and
is.
forth. So I'm gonna share a deal for me. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and so let's see if this is gonna work out. Bam.
All right.
Bam. So this house here, let me see if I could just move my camera a little bit so you guys can see it. All right. So this deal right here, let me see how big I can get it without it looking like ginormous. All right. So this deal right here, again, was in Florida, and it was in a little city. And I know the Apopkians, they're going to be like, what? Apopka ain't small. Yes, it is. So the little Apopkians, right? I don't even know if that's like a real thing, right? But it's West Orange County, Orlando. So this really cool, pretty house right here. It was a three bedroom, 1.5 bath, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, but it's a 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath. It was really nice. And this house was derived off of a direct mail campaign that I was doing at the time. So direct mail, people say it's like a dead dinosaur. Nobody's using direct mail. And I would actually beg to differ. Mail is still one of the best ways to communicate with owners, right? Because they receive it right in their inbox. It's personal. They get it, Maybe you have to send mail or multiple messages in sequential order for them to respond back to you. But the thing is, people keep mail. Like, I still have some mails that, I mean, how many of you on here, you get mail and you put it aside? You don't really throw it away, but you just put it aside, right? So you still have mail. So I
Right.
definitely am a huge advocate for direct mail in combination with other marketing strategies, right? So this was a property that I was able to get on the contract from direct mail. Now, this owner here was not in any financial distress. As a matter of fact, he owned many, many houses, and he owned many houses free and clear. So this was a property that he owned free and clear. I mean, no mortgage, no nothing. So he wasn't behind on payments, nothing like that. who lived here was his sister, if my memory serves me correctly, and his sister had passed away. So the house was vacant and he lived not too far away from the house. Now, where his motivation came in was that he was aging, right? So this was not a property that he wanted to babysit or take care of at the particular stage in life that he was in. So for those of you guys out there that sends out direct mail to like absentee owners, both in state and out of state, maybe you might want to add an additional criteria and just put maybe absentee owners that are 55 and older or 60 and older. That's a great opportunity too. Is a really good niche. It's a really good niche specializing, because they get to a point in their life where either they had already collected rents for, you know, many years prior to, and they're like, I'm good, you know, we got our money from this house, you know. Now they just want to liquidate, they want to move on, and they just don't want to deal with the maintenance and upkeep of the property anymore. And that was exactly the situation with this gentleman right here. So he was like, listen, Linda. It's not Linda. Listen, Linda. No, he was like, Jackie, I want to sell my house. And I was like, cool, I want to buy your house. This is a nice house. All right. So I was like, okay, well, I know this is a nice house and it doesn't really need a lot of repairs. It needed some, but it didn't need a lot. It was a very cosmetic. Okay. So I knew that a wholesale deal was not going to be something that he would accept. So I had to pull another toolkit, another out of my happy bag, to make sure that I secured my bag. I secured my bag, my duffel bag. You guys know what I'm talking about, who's on there. So what I ended up doing with this gentleman, with this deal, is I actually did a straight option. All right. I did an option agreement for his full price. So he wanted $130,000 for this house. And I was like, okay, all right. But when I did the comparables, right, when I looked in the area and I was like, all right, this area, I think that this house can actually, you know, be sold for 150,000. And then when you come to our boot camp, we'll show you exactly how to evaluate properties and determine what they're worth when they're like all fixed up. So in my assessment and my evaluation, this property was about 150, 155. So I was like, all right, there's a little bit of equity in there, a little bit of wiggle room, but not much. So I said to the owner, I says, okay, if you give me the opportunity, I will put this house under an option agreement for your full price. And if you don't have a problem with it, share with me, because we always sit and discuss. If you have an issue or anything like that, let me know now so I can make sure that you are 100% comfortable, you're 100% on board. All right. So what I did is I put this property under a option agreement with a minimal option fee. As a matter of fact, I think it was like $10. So it was really small. All right. And as long as I could assign my interest in that option agreement to someone else for a small markup and margin, he was okay with it, as long as he got his $130,000. So I was like, bet. Let's get it. All right. So that's exactly what I did. So I put this property under an option agreement and I went to work, started marketing my option agreement to be able to assign it to someone else. And I was successful in doing so. So when when someone was interested in this property, what we did is we negotiated for their assignment fee for my option, and they actually just purchased it outright. So the seller ended up getting his 130,000 because that's what he wanted, right? He was not going to accept a penny less, and I got the difference in the upsell from what the other buyer was going to purchase it for, negotiate it for. And this house ended up selling for, I think, 144, something like that, right? Because it had needed a new roof. I don't know if you guys can see it right here. The roof was kind of like fraying down here. So there was a bit of a negotiation in there, which was fine. But at the end of the day, the moral of the story is I controlled this property for $10 and ended up making like 14,000 something on this one. So that was a pretty dope. And I didn't fix nothing, Christine. Nothing. I didn't do nothing. A matter of fact, I think I must have brought over like some Fabuloso, because that's the purple one too. The purple Fabuloso. So that's the one that
Yeah,
smells
it
the
smells
best.
like lavender. I love it.
Yes. The purple.
Oh, that's funny. And I think like
Purple Fabuloso
obviously.
makes everything better. Okay. So purple
Yes.
Fabuloso, and I broom swept. $14,000 later, everybody was happy, right? So that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be teaching you how to put those opportunities together in the 3-day boot camp. So this is a great way for you guys to really, really, really dig in, learn these strategies in a really simple but yet comprehensive way, because we're not just sharing this with you just willy-nilly theory that we learned in some book somewhere. I mean, yes, did we read a lot? Sure, we did invest a lot in our own education, but more importantly, the education that we got is the streets, the hard knocks of actually doing it.
That's right.
Actually doing it and implementing all of these strategies and confirming or denying if it actually works or not. And we're here to tell you that it is possible to make money in real estate without renovating, without lifting and hammer, without having to apply for a loan at the bank, without having good credit, and without having to bust open your piggy bank to do it. Christine and I are going to show you and teach you all of these strategies, how to do that at our 3-day boot camp, February 22nd to the 24th. So that's the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th. Right
I'm
here
saying
in
all
Orlando.
weekend long. That's how cool it is.
That's 72
all weekend
hours.
long with us.
It's gonna be so awesome. That's 72 hours, you guys. 72 hours of just pure content, information, connecting the dots, your most pressing, deepest questions on how somebody does something. Like, how do you buy a house subject to the existing mortgage? How do you do that? How do you take over the payments of someone else's mortgage? How do you do that? How do you option a property and only put like $10 as an option fee, but make like $14,000 at minimum? I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing what real estate can do. I mean, how many deals do you need for you to like change the projection of your life? I said that earlier this morning, and I really, really do mean it. It only takes like one deal, and then all of a sudden you like an addict. You're not stopping. You an addict.
I think it's cashing. I think it's cashing that check.
Oh yes. Oh yes. When that check when that check goes live, you know, sometimes they be trying to put the hold on it. So I don't get checks anymore. I be like, where's the wire transfer?
Yeah, I'm like, you need to wire that money.
No.
When it hits, I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Exactly. It's all about the happy dance after that, right? So that's pretty dope.
And you know, that's one thing that I've definitely learned. Celebrate your successes. Mm-hmm. Even if it's like going out and blowing bubbles, saying, yay, I did it. You know, celebrate it. Because
that's pretty funny.
Celebrate it. It just, you know, it gets heavy.
It really does get heavy.
Yeah.
It really, really does get heavy. As a matter of fact, hold on one second, Christina. I have another picture. Let me see if it'll come up here. All right. So I have another one here. Hold on one second. Bam. All right.
Oh, beautiful.
Pink. I know. It's kind of like, it's really sexy, isn't it? It's like pinkish purple.
It is.
Only in Florida you got like purple houses, right? Like lavender houses.
Yeah.
Now,
what gets me is like someone painting their baseboards that color, or you know,
what?
Like I love that pink house we went into. The whole house was pink.
Yes, it really was. It was like salmon. It was very salmon-like.
Yeah. Like, but how did they decorate? I don't know.
I don't know what they had going on in that house. Oh, Dr. Robert King says, just an amazing amount of value. If you're watching this, you should register to her class. So imagine, what did he say? Imagine all the value you will get spending that time with her. He's talking about you and I. Thank you so much, Dr. King.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate that. Danielle Daly, he says he's agreed. Excellent amount of value. I mean, It just doesn't get any better than this. We are pouring out our hearts to make sure that people are extremely successful in their endeavors for real estate, because real estate really isn't the end, is it? You know, most people get into real estate investing because they are trying to accomplish something else in their life, right? Real estate becomes like the vehicle that they use to, in order
Right.
for them to live their best life, to actually manifest their big why. Why are they doing this in the first place? So you got to think about that.
Exactly.
What is your why? What is it in your life that you want to do? Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to, you know, take vacations with your children and not have to worry about like overspending. Maybe you want to, you know, travel around the world, or maybe you want to give back to charity, right? We have quite a lot of investor friends. That's what they do with, you know, a lot of their time. They as a matter of fact, I know that Augie has an awesome charity that he gives back to you, like the wheelchair, a wheelchair foundation. They're buying
Yeah.
wheelchairs and stuff like. They do a lot of stuff, you know.
Um,
So
uh, yeah, another investor friend of ours, she's actually a zookeeper. And what she
really,
does, she renovates houses and she donates part of it to saving the rhinos over in Africa. So
look at
I just
that.
think it's so cool,
Look at
you
that.
know? Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. So whatever your passion is, real estate can be able to help you fulfill that. So let's talk about this purple house. Now, I only have pictures of this purple house. Why? Because I never seen it. I never actually stepped foot in this house. So this was one of my favorite deals that I actually did virtually. I love it. It was over in the west side of the state, over in I think it's Bradenton area over there. And this
Okay.
is, yeah, this is also a deal that came from direct mail. So there you go. We're talking about it again. So this is a deal from direct mail. Okay. And what we did on this deal here, it ended up being like a wholesale deal for this one. How we actually got it under contract. We negotiated a cash price with the owner at the time, but it ended up being a retail sale. Isn't that interesting? We ended up getting it
With pink,
even with the
purple?
pink, even with the purple,
Wow.
somebody bought
Okay.
it. So it ended up, you
That
know,
is,
being sold to a retail buyer, which I thought was pretty great, because in the marketing strategy that I use, the marketing strategy, we're marketing for multiple buyers. So a lot of new investors make the mistake of saying, oh, I only want to talk to cash buyers. I only want to market to cash buyers. But the truth is, a buyer is a buyer. Who cares where the buyer come from? So I'm talking about cash buyers. I'm talking about owner financing buyers, people who have like large down payments, or, you know, a sizable down payment to put down, but they may need for you to hold a mortgage for them. How about lease option buyers, people who need time to fix their credit or to get themselves in a situation that they can go get traditional financing sometime in the future, but they too have a sizable option fee that they could you know, invest in their
yeah.
future home. And then you also have your retail buyers. Your retail buyers are the buyers that come to you already pre-qualified and ready to go. So it only makes sense for you to market for all buyer types so that you can increase your probability of being success when you want to move your properties. Now, granted, some properties will not fit the criteria or the inspection requirement for like a regular traditional buyer, but it doesn't mean that you should exclude them. For example, FHA, what's that, the 203B loan? You
Right.
those individuals can get a loan and wrap into their loan the cost for renovation of the property that they're actually buying. So like an FHA buyer can essentially buy a property that needs to be fixed up. They could buy a fixer upper and it be okay, you know?
Right.
So,
So I just want to caution you why a lot of people do not use that strategy is that takes time
mm-hmm,
and energy, and you have to give them paper after paper after paper after paper.
right.
And so just, at least if you're going to go that route, you're looking at 45 days plus before closing.
All right.
So that's why a lot of people do not do that. A lot of investors don't take advantage of that because it's
This is
just so
true.
long.
Yes, it can, but technically, is that really long though? Is I mean, 45 to 60-day payday. When was the last time you made $20,000 in 60 days? I mean, that's not normal. Like
Yeah,
really.
it depends. I'm like, I like to do the whole hard money, get her done.
I feel you. But you know what? I will invest that time. I will invest that time, my friend, and I will, stay the course in order for me to get the success that I'm looking for. So, whichever method works for you is good. We're going to teach you all of those different methods, whether you want to use the hard money or private money, and or
Yeah,
you want to do the marketing so that you can actually, stay the course and have the minimal amount of output so that you can get the maximum success back.
exactly. We're gonna discuss what leveraging means,
Yes, we're going to discuss
and
that
like
too.
there are many forms of leveraging. And what can you do with $40,000? What can you do with $100,000? Where should you put that? What does that look like? Because there is so many markets that you can go into. Like you can come to Florida and buy one house, or you can go into another market and buy four or five. What does that look like?
This is so true. Values are
Yeah.
very, very different. So I want to take some time out to shout out a couple of people. Oh, as a matter of fact, before I do that, can you tell us about our sponsor, Christine, for our event?
Yeah. So, first of all, we are getting a new sponsor. I'm so happy. I'm gonna send it, he's working on that. His name is Keith Griffin, and he is a handyman. So he's putting on his handyman services. Again, I back him up 100%. And then also Tim. Tim is our sponsor, and he does credit repair. So shout out to Tim. Thank you so much for believing in us and being some of our preferred vendors. We really appreciate it. And I also just want to, extend the offer to anybody else. If you're looking at being a part of Jackie and I in this amazing journey we're on, reach out to us. We're always open to a conversation. Become a preferred vendor with us. We really appreciate you guys.
Exactly. We love friends.
Yeah. And Dave, thanks. It's great. You said teach me too. Well, sign up. We will teach you.
Dave is a great guy. Dave is a general contractor fixing roofs out there, so he's doing big things out there too. So Nick says hello Robert, Becky's on, Dave's on, Boo Man's on,
Yes. Hey,
Shanique,
Tony. Hey, Barry.
yes,
Hey, Ed. Hey,
Nick is.
Tom. Hey, Jolyn.
Exactly. Nick, Megan, Bernard, Navigators, Netball Nation's on, Brittany's on, Cornell's on, Devon, Jackie, shout out to Jackie Guzman Silva. Kirby's on, Shardae's on, Richard's on, and I think I got everyone on my side so far. So that is awesome. Oh, Barry. Hey, Barry. You ladies are giving great advice. The best part is your honesty, yep, which gets you sellers agree with you. That's absolutely
Yeah,
correct. Your integrity, your honesty, and your transparency will be the longevity in your business as a real estate investor. I promise you,
that's right.
word gets out really, really quickly whenever
It
you
does.
don't do things right. So you want to make sure that you do things right. It's really, really easy just to do it right the first time and do right by people the first time. So what you want to do is under promise and over deliver. That will always get you a referral. That will always get people calling you back, and that will always get people
Right.
wanting to do business with you in the future. Now, Christine, I know you have another deal that you're going to talk about. Another one, because you got like a
Yeah,
whole bunch of
sure.
them. So in the meantime,
Um,
go to cashflowyourlife.com forward
yep.
slash 3 days and sign up for the boot camp. All right. It's only $397, over $10,000 in value in education. So $395 is like awesome. That's $397, I think. So it's like $133 a day
Yes.
included in
What?
it. I know. I was like, wait a minute, we're working for free. We're working for peanuts here. What are we, elephants? All
Oh,
right.
No, but again, I just want to iterate with this is that we're doing it because we love this business and we love working with people and we love helping you guys succeed. Like it is so gratifying to see people be successful. And what better way but to create something that gives them the tools, right? That's what it's about.
So Barry says, are we doing it for free? We're doing it for the love, Barry. So no. So I tell you what. So technically, you know what? To be honest with you, the answer is yes, Barry. It is, because at the end of the day, where the registrants, right, the participants investment is going towards the hotel, right? It's going towards the room. It's going towards their book and material, their workbooks. It's also going towards their food because we're feeding them too. That's also nice.
Yeah,
And it's going
I gotta eat
towards
too.
it's going towards the bus ride. So we're taking them out on the bus. So it's really, really jam packed with a whole lot of value. So it's really, really an amazing 3-day boot camp, and it's $397 for all 3 days. And we're really going to take you by the hand and show you step by step how we actually close it. We'll have case study after case study after case study of how we are putting our deals together in multiple different markets, right? So not just Florida.
Yeah,
We've done deals outside of the state of Florida. How do you do that, right? In addition, how do you protect yourself when you're doing all of these deals? How do you do all of those things
exactly.
virtually? How do you build your business? How do you market? How do you find deals? All of that stuff. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All
So
right. So
yeah,
great
so as
value. Thank you, Barry. Thanks for clarifying. Great
yeah.
value indeed. So pull up your deal, girl. What you got going
Well,
on?
so I just want to look at this as I was going through this. The very first property we bought in Florida, that was the closing book. Look how thick that is.
Ooh, that's
Can you
fancy.
imagine
That'll
that?
put you to sleep.
Yeah. And now here's how thick they are.
I know they've reduced a lot.
Look at that. Like,
Yes, that's a
I
huge
mean, like, oh
comparison. What?
my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah. So our first wholesale deal I found, um, and this was a house in Eustis, and it was the worst house I had ever been in, and it had no air conditioning, no central heat and air, and it had a hole like in the closet. But this guy, he was so proud of it, but he really wanted to move. And
It
he's
just
like,
need it just needed paint and carpet.
right, just painted carpet, and it was good. Um, so basically, my husband and I, we've always, out of our real estate companies, he and I have been working this together. And so we went there and met with him. He had actually been talking to another wholesaler. And so, but there was something sketchy. He didn't, again, how you get the deal is you are very authentic and have integrity around the situation. And so he liked working with us better. And, really we were upfront with him. We're like, all right, here's what we can do. Here's what we think we can sell it for. We're selling the contract. We just want you to be aware that that's what we're doing. You will still get the amount of money that you want for the house, and everything will be good. I guarantee you it's all legal with the title company. And he's like, okay, I just want it gone because I want my new house. I was like, all right, good deal. So it was in Eustis, Florida, which is a little bitty town up in Lake County. Lake County is one of those rural, yeah, we love Lake County, the rural counties. Um, so we did a double close on it. So if you guys don't know what that is, it's where you close the first one, turn around, maybe hold it for like a second or two, and then close it on again. So you have an A to B closing and then a B to C closing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can be at the same title company, other times it's two different title companies.
Now that's
So,
fancy. I've
yeah,
never
it is
done it.
fancy.
No, yeah, that's fancy. I've never done a double closing with two different title companies. It's always been the same one.
It gets interesting sometimes, that's for sure.
Yeah, I bet.
Um, so we purchased his house for 34,434. Okay. And we enlisted another wholesaler because at the time we did this, it was our first one. And we're like, I know nothing about wholesaling. I don't have a buyer's list. So then again, you go to your network. You go, hey, I have this property, you want to move it, have people help you do it, right? Don't
Mm.
throw it away. Have people help you because there's a buyer for that house somewhere, right? So he happened to bring a buyer. So again, we bought it at about, let's say 35,000. He brought a buyer for about 48,000.
Okay.
So there was a spread of 14,000. Okay. So so again, we double close. So we owned this house for like 5 minutes until we split the profit with the wholesaler. So we each
Okay.
walked away with about 6,500 in our pocket, which holding a house for, 5 minutes, that's not bad.
You know what? That's a good rate. I don't even think some attorneys make $6,500 in 5 minutes.
Yeah, right.
That's a good rate
That's
of
right. That was a
compensation.
good day. It's like, that's not bad. I'll take it
And
any day.
and you didn't fix anything.
Nope, didn't even touch it.
Not even a little fabuloso, nothing.
No, nothing. He bought it, the investor bought it sight unseen. That's the
No.
power of a buyer's list.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
You
I
know,
thought
and
I
yeah, and
thought
other
selling sight unseen was awesome because like I said, I did a deal where I never even stepped foot into the product. I didn't know what the product. I just got like pictures of like boots on the ground, like somebody who was local. I'm like, can you just drive by this property and just show me what it looks like? And then that's it. That's all that I did, but coordinated the rest of the deal. But buying properties without seeing it, I ain't there yet. Somebody got to do something. That's a lot of trust. That is a lot of trust.
it is. But when you have a transaction moving that quickly, that's really good part about it. But in real estate, what I love about it is anything is possible. You just have to create it. And so really it's a wild, wild west that's open to possibility there.
And that's the magic about real estate, the industry. And
Yeah.
there is no other industry. I mean, I guess no. I beg. Okay, I'm gonna take it back. All right. So there's trading, right? So people who trade stocks, people who trade like foreign exchange. Yes, in a matter of minutes,
Yeah.
you can be up thousands of dollars. In a matter of minutes, you can be down thousands of
Yeah, I
dollars
was
too.
gonna say
Right?
go get some money on that one.
So the rate of return or the speed of the rate of return, is like questionable, right? But real estate is one of those industries I believe that you can hedge your risk by the knowledge that you have. Does that make sense? So the more information that you have, you put in parameters like checks and balances so you can reduce. It's like a calculated risk. You essentially know what's going to happen before it happens because you've already identified all of the what ifs and you've answered all of those questions so that you know that your deal is going to be successful. And you have all these different scenarios, right? So you have best case, okay, this is all right, worst case scenario. You have all these different exit strategies, layers of exit strategies that you can implement, and then have a clear understanding of what your pocket is going to look like, right? By the time you implement all of those exit strategies for your property. So that's super dope. I love that one. That's cool.
Yeah, me too. It's like not bad for your first wholesale deal. But I want to reiterate one more point again. You know, I'm not successful without my network of people, my friends and my connections that I have. And so it was, I don't mind giving away a little bit of money if someone's going to help provide value to me as well. That's
Mm.
worth it, worth the amount that you pay for it. There's a cost to everything, and that's okay as long as you're still profiting from it, right?
This is so true. And you know what you just really stated, Christine? It's a mindset. It's a mindset of sharing, and being able to openly give and trust in that process of doing deals with other people, joint venturing, so that everybody in that deal can be successful together. Does that make sense? A lot of
Yeah,
people want to do
completely.
everything independently. They want to hoard everything. I got it, I got it, I got it, that kind of thing. And then they end up doing less because you can't do everything by yourself. You have to leverage not only your time, leverage your information, and leverage other people, not just other people's money. People talk about OPM all the time. Okay, fine. Yes, there's other people's money, but there's other people's time. There's other people's resources. There's other people's Rolodexes, right? Of their networking connections that you could be leveraging. And, there's other people's like experience and knowledge, right? There's a whole lot of things that you could be leveraging in real estate to bring you really, really good success. So just a quick shout out, Jim. Jim asked, is our boot camp on the 3rd of February? It's on February 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So it's a 3-day boot camp, February 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and it's cashflowyourlife.com/3 days. All right, the number 3 days. All right, you won't miss it because you'll see Christine and I like on the front page. And then Christie, I know. Oh, you got a key. And then Christie says $6,500 in a matter of minutes. That's excellent. Yes, it
exactly.
is. Amen. Amen.
Yes.
Amen. 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 That's what I'm talking about, right? So yes.
Right.
So that's the kind of change. I mean, think about that. That's really life changing. The first time I did my first wholesale deal, I think I netted somewhere around about like 5,500, Christie. So it wasn't the 65, but it was like emancipating. It was freeing. It was a house over in, oh my gosh, it's not Fruitland Park.
Okay.
That's where it was. It was Fruitland Park, Florida. It took me a while to remember. It's like Fruitland Park. And it was a woman that inherited the property from her dad. All right. Her dad passed away, and she just had this property. It was deteriorating. It was awful. Like the roof was caving in. It was pretty bad, and I contracted with her for $29,000. And then when I went and I did the inspection on it, just drove by, I was like, oh my God, like there's a hole in the roof. Hold up. We got to go back and talk about this, right? So I told her that I had to reduce my original offer to her because I found like additional items that needs to be repaired that I have to account for. And she was like, oh no, you told me 29, I want to cancel the contract. I was like, all right, no problem. So I sent her over a cancellation. I did. I sent her over a cancellation. And the next day she was like, I accept your 20,000. So I got like a $9,000 discount on top of my offer in my first deal. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was super, super amazing. So I ended up like flipping that one, assigning my contract to another renovator, right? He was a buy, fix, and hold kind of guy, so he was cool with it. So I ended up selling it to him for like 26 because the roof and everything, like I said, was in pretty bad shape. So it was yeah. It was a great deal for everybody. So she got her 20,000. I ended up like netting like about 55, and the other investor, bought a really great opportunity, a really great deal. Like that's somebody's car. $26,000 is a car. And he got a house for that. So that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So anyway, cashflowyourlife.com/3 days is the site that you can go to grab your tickets to come to the 3-day boot camp, the 3-day Cash Flow Your Life boot camp with Christine Baker and we are going to be teaching you multiple different strategies where we will be showing you exactly how we put everything together. As you can see, we are a wealth of knowledge. We don't mind sharing and opening up and showing you how to connect the dots so that you can actually be really successful. And on top of that, we're actually going to be sharing our best practices, our Rolodex, our preferred vendors, and taking you out on a field trip and bus ride, taking you to properties so that you can actually connect all of that information that we're teaching you to actual real properties. I mean, no one does that. Nobody does that. That's crazy. Christine and I are doing that, and we're lovingly doing it and putting out this information because we want you to be as successful as possible. So, Christine, you
That's
got any
right.
closing words? You got anything? We held them hostage on Facebook Live for a while now,
Yeah.
but I think they like it. They like it. Y'all
Oh,
like
but
it,
it's
don't
so fun talking about deals.
you?
No, just really sign up.
Sign up. Sign up.
Do it.
You got what, 20, 21 days? They got 20. What day
Yeah,
is it?
invest in yourself.
Yeah,
Really, invest in yourself.
that's so true. So we're going to drop the link right here in this post, cashflowyourlife.com/3 days. We're going to drop the link. So just grab your ticket now before the bus pulls up and you be like crying. You ever like stood outside? You remember when you was back in school and you was waiting on the bus and you was late and you missed the bus and you at the corner like this. They really left me. That happens. We on the bus like, bye y'all. We about to go make some money. We'll see you guys later.
Right. I got my contract in hand.
Got a contract in hand. Bye. See ya. All right, Christine. We'll definitely be talking to you guys soon. Peace out. Love.
Sounds
Peace,
good.
forgiveness, all
Bye.
that good stuff. Bye, guys.
Bye.